series the last 4 weeks now about teach us how to pray. Amen. And as we continue to navigate this reality about teach us how to pray, we've tried to go through at least the different types of prayer. So far, we've been through 3 of them. One of those weeks, we took time to focus on the ground foundational work of what it is to pray. But those 3 weeks that we've already been into, we learned that 1, we needed to learn about the prayer of adoration, right? Number 2, prayer was that we should learn about confession, all right. Number 3, prayer was, we learned last week was, well, I don't think this was last week. Was it last week? Thank you. My mind getting bad. Last week we learned of what? All right. This week then we focus on the prayer of supplication, right? And then 2 more weeks we'll have in this series, and we'll talk about the prayer of intercession and likewise the prayer of spiritual warfare. Amen. So tonight, as we talk about prayer of supplication, if you're taking notes and I'm going too fast, just wave your hand in the air, wave it like you just don't care. Let me know so I can ensure that you get what you need, all right? This week's text ironically takes us back for a brief second to revisit Philippians 4 and 16, but also to join in with James chapter 5, verse 16. There was something in my studies along this line of lesson this week that took me back to revisit Philippians 4, and I want to point it out to you that will help and make means for our lesson throughout this week, and then we want to join in with James chapter 5, verse 16, okay? Here's the question as always: why do I need the prayer of supplication? As a foundational piece, we're talking about supplication, but we need to understand why we need it. So here's what we need to understand. This prayer provides an opportunity for us to communicate our concerns with one in whom we are confident. Let me ask you as a point of reference, I'm not going to ask you what your concern is, but is there anybody in here right now, you got some concerns? You got some concerns. You're dealing with some things, whether it's concerns with your health, concerns in your family, concerns in your relationship, concerns in your own mental stability, concerns on your job. All of us have concerns, but this prayer provides for you and I a foundation tonight to say when you have concerns, you ought to communicate those with the one whom you are confident in. In other words, this is trying to acquiesce you to move from calling your mama. They might love you, but they can't always fix it. Talk to me. You call your favorite cousin. They might love you, but they can't always fix it. You can call your pastor. I want you to. I hope you do. But I don't always have an answer. Sometimes we have to communicate those concerns with one whom is more confident and can be a confidant for us in those struggles, all right? In other words, here's what I'm saying. A prayer of supplication is a moment to highlight that God, here it is, welcomes our needs, responds to our faith, but strengthens our dependency on him. Man, that was powerful. I'm going to say it again. A prayer of supplication is a moment that highlights God welcomes our needs. Somebody say he welcomes all your needs. It responds to my faith, but it strengthens my dependency on him. There are so many